SheFighter. Today, my guest is from Toronto, Canada, and she has passion for design, culture, and an eye for industry trends that allowed her to realize the industry's use of Middle Eastern prints, patterns, and symbols. She's a founder of Kuvrd, an Arab heritage streetwear brand that promises trendy and unique pieces that bring Eastern traditional styles with a Western touch. We're going to hear more from her. Please help me welcome Seevana Hawari, right? Is that your family name?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Great.
Thanks, Lena.
Thank you, Seevana,
Thanks
for
for having
joining
me.
us. No, thank you so much. I'm always happy to find young entrepreneurs starting really young, because it's really important to start young because you're going to learn a lot along the way. So I'm really happy that you
Yep.
started young.
Mm-hmm. It's always a learning experience. I started like 3 years ago in university, and it's just been a lot of learning, and I'll definitely talk more and touch base on that throughout the talk we have.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me, so you have been traveling to the Middle East and back, especially to Jordan and Palestine and back to Canada. How is it living for Arabs in the West, comparing to Middle East, living in the Middle East?
Mm-hmm. So I've personally never actually lived in the Middle East, but I used to always, and I still go and visit. So more of a vacation. So I don't have the perspective of how it is living there, but from, what I see.
You just love the food there, right?
Yeah, exactly. The food, the family, being spoiled.
You come here to the Middle East just for knafe, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's exactly it. Knafe and my grandma's food for sure.
100%.
Yeah. But I was born and raised in North America, born in Boston and raised in Toronto. So I don't really have that much perspective as how it's like to live in the Middle East. However, as I said, like I feel like when I do go there, maybe I have a biased perspective because I'm there on vacation, but I feel like it's a little more laid back than it is here in Canada.
Oh yeah, yeah. So how's it
You could
living in
agree for me.
Canada? Yeah, how's it living in Canada? For Arabs and let's say different Arabs like from Palestine, Jordanian, all. Yeah.
So especially where we live in Toronto, it's very diverse. There's actually a lot of Arabs, from different cultures, and I feel like, over the years, it depends on which crowd you are surrounded by, but you don't really feel like you're missing that, Middle Eastern Arab culture, because it's here. It's different for sure. It's not, you don't really, you don't hear the adhan outside. It's not like that. But I feel like if you're surrounding yourself with, Arabs, you don't really miss out. But in terms of lifestyle and living, here is a little bit more structure. I find like you have certain set things that you have to accomplish, and waking up early is something that's a lot more normal here. Waking up 6 a.m. 5 a.m. To get your day rolling and started, here is a lot more common than in the Middle East. I feel like it's a little bit more laid back. And as I said, I might be having a biased perspective and just kind of looking at the people that I surround myself in the Middle East, which is mainly my family and a few of my friends.
Do you feel that there is a big difference between women in Canada, Arab women in Canada and Arab women in the Middle East? About like jobs, are they like very, they have to get a job or they have to finish university, and how is it in Canada?
I think that in Jordan, especially with the economy, it's not really as promising as it is here in Canada. I feel like it's definitely harder to find a job in Jordan than it is here, especially if you have the same level of education. However, another aspect to that, especially like if you're just starting off, like here you're able to get a decent pay starting off. However, in Jordan, your pay is like below poverty, really. So I feel like you do take ownership of your career, and there is a ton of opportunities nonetheless in the Middle East, whether you're in the Middle East or Canada. It depends on how ambitious you are and if you have defined goals. However, it might be just a little easier for that opportunity here in Canada with all the resources and support we do have.
So where are you from exactly in the Middle East?
I'm from Palestine. So my mom, and I'm very proud to be Palestinian. My mom is from Jaffa, and my dad is from Elid. I only went to Palestine for the first time 3 years ago, in which it was like such an amazing experience, emotional for sure, but it was just so beautiful to see, you know, our Arab heritage, especially in Palestine, where, you know, you've only seen these beautiful photos, but to be there in real life and actually experiencing it is just like truly breathtaking and just, you know.
And why do you feel you have a passion for Palestine, heritage of Palestine, even though you did not grow up in such a country? Do you think because of the, you know, tales that you have been listening to when you were young, or the stories that your mother told you, or your grandmother, you know, maybe her food, you know?
Yeah, so it's definitely the food, but
definitely.
Definitely the knafe, nablestic knafe. But you know, with the whole conflict going on in Palestine and Israel, like I just felt like it was really important to stay connected to my culture and my heritage, in a, you know, in a time, especially in the West, where people are trying to really remove Palestine off the map, and, you know, kind of just get rid of it. But I feel like, you know, the younger generation should be making an effort, every effort, and I feel like we are doing a good job with all these new social media platforms, really talking about our heritage, educating one another, and just really reviving our culture and history. You know, we don't always have to be political about it, but it's just really important to, you know, raise awareness of our culture and the different aspects of it.
Yeah. So what do you like mostly about Palestine?
I would say just the history, the rich history, the crafts, you know, tatriz, you know, the pottery, everything to do with the craft and the artisans really, you know, empower me. I just love how, you know, with everything that these women do, there's always a story behind it. So I feel I really do admire the strong storytelling behind our culture.
Yeah. And you feel like there is a lot of history in the Middle East, especially in Palestine. You know, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of old history, and you can feel it in the culture when you come here. It's different than you, for example, you go to Canada. You feel like it's new and there's not much going on in Canada. While when you come to the Middle East, you know, there were like three religions in Palestine, you know, fighting in Jerusalem. And they all have like, there's different communities. And so it's just amazing. You can just feel it in the culture. And
definitely.
Yeah.
You can definitely feel it like in the culture, you know, walking through the streets of Palestine, especially Jerusalem, the architecture is just beautiful. You know, Dome of the Rock, all of the, you know, all of these landmarks that are in Palestine really do provide that, you know, that rich history that, you know, when you do go back to the Middle East, you really appreciate. And it's just, you know, once in a lifetime opportunity. So if, you know, you haven't gone, Lina, have you gone?
Oh yeah, for sure. Many times. But I always tell people, if you're coming to Jordan, you have to go to Palestine.
You have to, like, it's like.
And sometimes they're like, they just go to Palestine and they never pass by Jordan. I'm like, how come, you know? You have to pass by.
Yeah, you have to. Like, you're already there. It's like, I remember when I went, it was like 40, it's literally a 45-minute drive, by the way, from Jordan, from Amman, Jordan to Palestine, the border, even crossing the border, all that together. 45 minutes, never mind, you know, getting questioned at the border, both borders.
The weird questions,
Yes. The very weird questions. But other than that, like, you know, it's definitely like, you know, you have to go. If you're even if you're just in the Middle East, like you just like really have to go, like experience it at least once in your life.
Definitely. So tell us about Kuvrd. Like, how did you come up with the idea and why? And I'm sure, like, why? It's because of we said. But you can say that more. But tell us more about Kuvrd.
Yeah. So as you said, as you mentioned, Lina, you know, Kuvrd is an Arab heritage wear brand. So we take prints and patterns from the Middle East and we kind of modernize it, making it accessible here to the West, belong to worldwide. We do ship internationally.
So
Most
what's
of
the
our
website again? So
yeah,
www dot
Kuvrd.ca, kuvrd.ca. So you asked how I started. So I actually started when I was in university in my second year. I actually went to school for fashion in Toronto, and a lot of the projects that we were given were to rebrand something or create a collection for something. And it was sort of kind of like, you're doing this, it's great knowledge, you're going to learn from it, but I kind of wanted to apply it to something that is tangible. And then once I kind of graduated, I had something that I developed and I can kind of grow over the years. So that's sort of what I did. But I wanted to do something that I was really passionate about and combined what I was learning in school, which I am very passionate about fashion as well. But, to combine both really, really, made me fulfilled. And I actually was very passionate about, the idea. And, I felt motivated to work on this as well. So that's sort of how I initially started. I had a lot of support from my professors in university, from the incubators around in Ryerson. So I went to Ryerson. And it was just, an amazing experience. And I learned so much.
And you have some celebrities mentioning you, right?
Yeah.
Even wearing your brand.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. So a few are Hamad Hadid, Gigi and Bella's dad, Masari, Eliana, which she's an up and coming Palestinian artist. She's like, if you guys haven't heard her, she's worth listening to. Very.
What's her name again? Let's say it again.
Eliana, Elyanna, I believe that's how you.
Eliana, okay.
Spell it, Eliana, yeah. Eliana. Palestine on a Plate, which is a very, very established, well-known UK-based Palestinian chef. And she always wears my stuff, always reps it.
So how long you started? Since when did you start Kuvrd?
Yeah, so the idea initially stemmed when I was in 2017. So I was actually I was in university and I just finished my second year, and then I decided I wanted to do something. But eventually, initially, it was actually I was wanting to do modesty wear, which is why I named the brand Kuvrd, because you're covering yourself. But I decided that it was oversaturated and I wasn't very passionate about modesty wear. Myself, I'm not a very, I would say, modest person in the sense of what I wear. So I just felt like I wouldn't be the best sort of representation of the brand, and I wasn't as passionate about it. So I decided to kind of switch over to something that I was more passionate about, which was my heritage. And I could integrate modesty if I wanted to, but I kind of just decided to do streetwear, and just I felt like the opportunity of that.
That's great. I mean, have you thought of having physical stores at some point in, let's say, Canada and North America? Did you have it in mind?
So I think so. Right now, I'm in the step of reaching out to boutiques and having my stuff in these boutiques that are very in line with my brand, my mission and vision. However, right now we're not at that stage to open up our own storefront. And if we were to do our own storefront, I don't think it would just be a boutique. It would.
So what's the next steps for Kuvrd?
Yeah. So right now we're focusing on our Cut 'em by Kuvrd program, which is our charity program that we launched last year, in which every sale you give back to refugees in the Middle East. And focus right now. Last year we focused on Jordan, so Jarash camp, Wadi Wahdat refugee camp as well. So we kind of gave meals, school supplies through our sales on our online website. This year we are doing the same sort of meal distribution program in Gaza camp, and we're working with International Human Concern, which is a Canadian charity but has charities on the ground and their team on the ground in refugee camps in the Middle East. So we're really focusing on giving back. However, we feel like giving back with meals is amazing. It's a short-term impact. It's not a very lasting impact, I want to say. So we want to focus on empowering and educating as well as employing women in these refugee camps through workshops, through educational workshops. So right now we're interviewing refugees. We're trying to gather as much information as possible to create this curriculum that they want to learn about. And then hopefully, you know, if successful and, you know, finish the workshop, they're able to sort of work with us through design, through manufacturing. And that's sort of how we want to sort of expand. It's definitely not, you know, an overnight thing. It will take, you know, years to really, you know, have a seamless, you know, program in place. But that's sort of our long-term goal with that.
So if someone like want to volunteer, can they do that? And where can they find you?
Yeah, so volunteering in refugee camps, or is that what you're saying? Or just
or
in general,
even in general? Yeah, covered.
Yeah, so, you know, we don't do volunteer positions, but we do have a few intern positions that are open. And you guys, like anyone can just like email us and let us know what they're interested in doing and see if we do have a place with us. info@kuvrd.ca, or my personal email, which is Seevana@kuvrd.ca, kuvrd.ca.
And your name is SEEV because
Seevana, yeah.
Seevana.
Yeah.
No, great, Seevana. I think your brand will grow. Just take it slowly, step by step, find the right partners, you know, and you can expand. Later on, you can even have different grants to grow in the camps, because then it's charity work and helping refugees. So thank you so much, Seevana. Thank you a lot for sharing all these information.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Seevana. And for everybody watching, go ahead and subscribe at SheFighter.com to receive the latest news and updates. And if you want to watch all the episodes of the Empowerment Zone, you can find them at SheFighter.com/The Empowerment Zone.